What's up everybody, welcome back, or welcome if you're new. My name is Derek, and in today's video we're going to be discussing this package right here. And so this package actually came as a surprise to me from my brother, and I think I know what's inside of it, but let's go ahead and break into it and see what really is inside.
You gonna help me unbox? Where are you going? You smell doggies, so that's why you're marking your territory. Huh.
As always, I have my handy dandy knife here, and you know what? It was actually brought to my attention that this knife right here is kind of like a horror story knife, kind of like that. So I won't be using it this video. I'll kind of place it somewhere else out of danger, so that way I'm not, scaring anybody. So let's go ahead and unbox this thing, and that way we can see what really is going on inside of this package my brother had sent me. So like I said, I think I know what my brother sent me, but I'm not entirely sure. So we'll find out, and hopefully it's what I think it is, because if it is, it's a early Christmas gift to me or a late birthday gift. Yeah, I'm a December baby. All right, so my new knife isn't quite as fancy as the other knife. I would say it's a little bit more bulky and a little less effective in more tight areas. So finally got the one side open. All right, just good old 10-year-old style. Let's rip the box open. All right, so my brother put a few different things in here. I'm not entirely sure what's all in here, so I guess we're gonna have a few things to unbox. So we have this thing, whatever this is. Let's put that to the side. And then we have this thing, which is maybe a gift from Amazon, or maybe repackaged things, I don't know. And this is what I was truly expecting. So this thing, we're going to get to those other things here in a minute. This is going to be the Legion Go, the Lenovo Legion Go. And if you're not familiar with Lenovo or Legion Go specifically, this is a portable PC gaming handheld. And so before we actually open the Lenovo Legion Go, let's go and check and see what else my brother had sent me. So we're going to put that aside really quick, and let's go ahead and open this thing. So I don't know if this is like truly an Amazon thing, or if this is just kind of like another thing that he sent me. But cutting away from me, so that way I can practice safe cutting skills. And this is, these. Have you seen these before? These are AR glasses. These are the X-Real Air AR glasses. So I think this is a birthday gift. So brother, thank you. Okay, so now let's check this thing out. Out of all the things that you packaged it in reused Amazon stuff. Come on. Just a word of the wise to you boys and girls out there. Be nice to your brothers and sisters, because they might give you free things when you get older. All right, cut. I should have done an ASMR video of all this. This is a lot to unpack. More packaging. Okay, so more packaging inside of packaging. Oh. This is, I don't know. We'll find out. Oh. All right, knife cutting skills. Hurrah! All right, cut. Okay, wait. I think this goes to the AR glasses, if I stand corrected. I'd probably know all this if I actually asked my brother, but it's fun to unbox things. Okay, yes, this is another AR glasses thing. We're gonna be talking about this here, if not in this video, in a future video. Here's another one. This is like literally opening birthday gifts, reused birthday gifts, or early Christmas gifts, reused Christmas gifts. And yes, more AR glasses stuff. So again, if I don't get to actually demonstrating the power and the coolness of these AR devices, I will definitely do another video for you. So I've always wanted to use these AR glasses because I work from home, and I think that if I got to use these AR glasses, let's say just like on my face, I'd be able to have a massive screen wherever it is I'm going. So again, stay tuned, like and subscribe to my channel because of the fact that I will show you how to use these AR glasses. Okay, so now let's get to the actual meat and potatoes of this video, which is going to be this chunky monkey right here. All right, so before I get into the actual details of the Lenovo Legion Go, let's talk about what the Lenovo Legion Go really is. The Lenovo Legion Go is actually going to be Lenovo's first attempt, at least from my understanding, of a gaming handheld device. So this is a pretty cool device. I would have to say that it is quite large, and we're going to talk about what the specs are, what the details are, and also who is it for. This Lenovo Legion Go, oh, that is a tongue twister, is a gaming device. I mean, you can see there's little joysticks right there, there's a D-pad, there is going to be some buttons. So this thing is pretty beautiful, but it's also pretty big and it's pretty heavy. So based off of my notes over here, it is this LCD screen right here is 8.8 inches. And so you heard it right. This is an LCD screen, not an LED screen. And I wonder if that's going to make a difference in the ability to play games later. We're gonna test it out. This also weighs 1.8 pounds. You could kind of feel this thing. It's heavy. I mean, honestly, this is not something I could just put in my pocket and just go. It's kind of one of those gaming devices that you definitely want to make sure that you have a book bag for, because I don't see how this would be extremely portable, especially when comparing it to, let's say, the Nintendo Switch or the Asus ROG Ally. The Legion Go does run on the operating system of Windows, so Windows 11 to be specific. And so when you're trying to play games on the Legion Go, you're going to have to download game launchers or game clients in order to play your games, meaning that you have much more opportunity to play a more diverse set of games. And so for those of you who are not familiar with how that works, is going to be the fact that if you have a Windows gaming machine and you have all these other clients on it, then you're able to play like Warcraft, you're able to play Steam games, you're able to play Epic or EA games because you're launching it from that launcher or that client. Whereas if you're going to be using, let's say, like the Nintendo Switch, or if you're going to be using the Steam Deck is running Valve OS, which is essentially a proprietary software that Steam has generated for their Steam Decks, which I'm not bashing by any means. The Steam Deck runs really well with their software, but you are limited to mostly playing games off of the Steam client. And there are some ways to tinker around and get other clients to run on the Steam Deck, so that way you're able to play like your EA games, your Warcraft games on the Steam Deck, but it's not quite as simple, especially if you don't like to tinker with kind of the settings, drivers, and whatnot. So I like the Steam Deck, but I'm not quite a fan of having to use the Steam client for all of my gaming purposes. And similarly, the Nintendo Switch has their own proprietary Nintendo software that runs on the Switch, and they do it beautifully, both the Steam Deck and the Nintendo Switch. But in my personal opinion, I feel like if I was going to be using a Windows machine like the Lenovo Legion Go, or the Asus ROG Ally, or the MSI Claw, these are all other gaming handheld PC machines, then you have a little bit more options. So to look at the Lenovo Legion Go case, it's a big boy. I mean, look at that thing. It's kind of like a Subway sub that kind of went under some Black Ops type stuff. And so, oh, this is, we'll talk about this here shortly. But the proprietary Lenovo Legion Go case it's pretty good. I mean, this is kind of like a hard case. You can see that there are a little bit indentings for the thumbsticks. And then this is where this thing came out, sorry. And then you can see here, this is going to be where the Joy-Cons are. Not really too much else to it. There's no like hidden pockets or anything like that. But if you're trying to figure out, will this protect my Lenovo Legion Go? Yeah. Okay, so it looks like my brother didn't send me the power brick or the charging adapter for the Lenovo Legion Go, so I do have some other ones that I can use in order to power this thing. So let's go ahead and get this thing charged up, and let's go ahead and start loading into Windows. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and plug this thing in at the bottom USB-C port, and let's go ahead and set this Legion Go up so that way we can charge it. Oh, it actually seems like it's already charged, so that's wonderful. So let's go ahead and unplug it, and then let's go ahead and turn this thing on, which I believe the power button is, I don't know where the power button is. Is it over here? I really don't know where the power button is. All right, and so I really don't know where the power button is, but I was playing around with some of the buttons and now the joysticks are blinking red. Okay, I found the power button. So remember I said this thing earlier, it was kind of like a slidey thing? Well, that's the power button. I guess my brother had actually like put a little slidey mechanism on this so that way he doesn't accidentally press the button. And so I did just kind of finagle it and just press down to see, and now it's finally starting. So you can see there's a loading screen right there. By the way, this is all touchscreen enabled, so you don't necessarily have to have a mouse to set this up. You could actually use your finger and then touch on whatever option that you want. And so I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of go through this. So while the Legion Go does its basic setup for a new user, let's talk about some of the specs. So first and foremost, the hard drive space. This is super important because the amount of hard drive space dictates how many games you can download and play on your actual device. That's not just for the Legion Go, that's for all devices, your cell phone, your Nintendo Switch, your whatever. And so there are two different hard drive configurations that you can choose from. You have a 512 gigabyte version, and then you have a 1 terabyte version. And so when the Legion Go was starting to take pre-orders or starting to hit the shelves at some of the stores, the 512 gigabyte version would set you back $699, I think. And then the 1 terabyte hard drive configuration would set you back $749, or pretty much $750. That's a big chunk of change. However, if you're watching this in December of 2024, this is actually going to make a really nice gift because of the fact that the 512 gigabyte version is actually selling for about $499, which is about $200 or $300 off from its original selling point. The processor for the Legion Go is actually an AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme. If you don't know what that means, it's okay, because honestly, most people don't. Just know that the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme is actually capable of running PS4 level games, maybe a little bit just beyond PS4 if you have the correct specs tailored to the game that you're playing. But don't be expecting to play PS5 or Xbox Series X games on the Legion Go just because of its technical limitations. But honestly, in 2024, where you have a handheld gaming PC that's able to run PS4 graphics on the go, that's pretty awesome. So here I'm downloading the Steam client to check and see if I can play some of my Steam games like Helldivers 2 on the Legion Go. So here we have Helldivers 2. You can see that it's a little bit laggy and it's not the smoothest gameplay. It doesn't necessarily mean that the game is going to be continuously laggy. However, there is going to be just a little bit of a drop in frame rates between if you're going to be playing this on a PS5 or maybe an actual gaming computer. I do want to state that the volume is not very good on the Legion Go, mainly because it sounds extremely flat. There's literally no type of bass and it sounds like it's just very, very flat. For what it is, the Legion Go does a wonderful job. I would say that it's safe to assume that this particular settings is probably set higher than the Legion Go can actually play. And if that's the case, I would have to say that the Legion Go is handling it pretty well. I think that if I reduced some of the resolution as well as capped out the frame rate, it would probably be a little bit better. However, again, really, this is just a really quick overview and just to show how this game is actually going to play. Another reason why I chose Helldivers to use as a test game to demonstrate the Legion Go is because Those of you who know what Helldivers 2 is about, you know that it's a graphically intensive game. You know that there's a lot of explosions and lots of just activity going on all the time. And so this is a wonderful game to really put the Legion Go through a stress test. And now those fans on the Legion Go, while the Legion Go is actually really cool to the touch, those fans are screaming. Check it out. So there is a little bit of haptic feedback whenever you press the trigger buttons. Not bad at all. And again, honestly, I think that the game would play much smoother if I changed some of the settings around. But ultimately, if I didn't have a PS5 or if I didn't have a gaming PC to use, I think that the Legion Go would actually do a really, really good job at being kind of that supplement device that kind of bridges the gap. The Legion Go actually has quite a lot of buttons on it. You can actually see here, I mean, there's like a plethora of buttons up front, and then there's going to be some buttons on the back over here, and then obviously you have the buttons on top, and then you actually have the capability of having this as a kickstand. So let's see if I can figure this out really quick. Okay, there we go. So there's the kickstand. So there's like a little ledge right here, and then this kickstand will come up, so that way you can rest it on the desk. So on top here, we have some volume rocker buttons for increasing and decreasing the volume. We have a USB-C 4 port right here. Yeah, that's right, USB-C 4. We're that far along in technology now. We also have a micro SD card, a working micro SD card. Asus ROG Ally, I'm not looking at you. And then at the top here, we have some fans for a cooling system. And then we have a 3.5 headphone jack, which is just phenomenal. And then we have this thing. I'm not quite sure if that was actually built in with the Lenovo Legion Go or if my brother was just being weird. But I guess it's like a little bit of a slider thing. I don't know. See, slide, 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 slide to slide. And it doesn't slide to cover anything, and it doesn't slide to uncover anything. I don't know what this is. And still on the top side, we still have some bumper buttons, the left and right trigger and bumper buttons. Same thing here on the other side. But on the back, look at this thing. I mean, there's buttons over here on the left kind of grippy thing. And I do want to mention that the buttons on the back, the paddle buttons, they're not symmetrical. I mean, my OCD is not really going to go too crazy, but there's two buttons on this side, and then there's one button on this side, and then there's like another button over here, and then there's additional buttons only on the right side of the controller. And so you might be wondering, why does one side of the controller have more buttons than the other side? Well, that's because of the fact that these thumbsticks over here, or the housing unit, this kind of plastic handle area, actually detaches similar to how the Joy-Con works on the Nintendo Switch. So essentially, you have this little button right here that you would press, and then when you press it, I think it just comes off. So we'll press it and... Okay, well, I think this is what you... Oh, there you go. So you just got to put some oomph into it. So you press that button, and so you have then the controller area that is detached from the rest of the Lenovo Legion Go. And so, yes, the other side does disconnect as well. Hopefully I'm a little bit more graceful about this one now that's my second chance. So again, there's that little kind of button in there. Gonna press it. Aha! So there you go. Now we have the other controller. And so this right here is essentially going to be a Windows tablet. And so remember, there is going to be a little bit of a kickstand over here, so that way you can just place this on the desk. Before I talk more about the controllers for the Legion Go, I want to talk about one last thing, which is going to be this thing right here. That's a second USB-C 4 port. So you have one up the top and then one at the bottom. And honestly, I like that option because of the fact that I would sometimes want to play games in bed or on the couch or whatever, and then I don't want to always have to kind of jam my USB-C port into the bottom section over here. And so I like that because now I can put the charging side over here, whereas then I can put the AR glasses on this side. And I just like the option of having that. So Lenovo, good job for adding two USB-C ports. All right, so now let's talk about these. So this is the controller that is on the right side of the Legion Go, and this is the controller on the left side of the Legion Go. Remember, the right side has more buttons, and like I said, there's a reason for that. So let's go ahead and actually look at the buttons first. So you have your basic X, Y, BA buttons at the top there. They're nice and clicky, kind of like this settings button right here on top for whenever you want to access the start button or the options or what have you. We have the analog stick, which is nice and fluid. But then we have the trackpad or the touchpad here, which is a little bit glossy and it feels good on the thumb, but it's honestly going to probably help with being a mouse or, I don't know, some type of touch sensitive game. But continuing on the right controller, we then have the back portion. So on the back portion, we have kind of this scroll wheel here. And I'm like, what the heck is that? Why does the controller have a scroll wheel? We'll talk about that. There are 2 additional paddle buttons on the back, again, still on the right controller. So we have this one and then we have that one. And then on the side, we then have this button right here, which is kind of like where your palm would sit. And then we have this button on the side over here. And then obviously we have our normal buttons on the regular controller. And so this thing has a lot of buttons. And the reason for that, the Grand Slam reveal, is because of this thing right here. Remember, I dropped it earlier on the desk. It was actually sitting in the Lenovo Legion Go case. And you actually have this to be an optical mouse to control the Lenovo Legion Go. And so you would put the controller into the black circular thing, and then you just place it in there like so. And I would have to say that this is magnetized, so it's actually really cool. All right, so now we have it attached to this little black disc. Now we actually make it a mouse. So at the bottom here, there's going to be, oops, it's upside down. There's going to be an on-off switch right here. And so if you wanted to make this a mouse, so that way you're doing some type of first-person shooter, or maybe you're using it as a mouse, just as a regular mouse, you can actually do this with this particular setup, which is just super cool because it's already connected to your Lenovo Legion Go, and then you kind of just extend it. Here we have the controller, and we're gonna go ahead and sync it up there. If you are going to be doing it this way, make sure to turn that button on. See that little red section there? And you're able to go ahead and turn this into a mouse. So currently it is off. Let's go ahead and set it to on. And you can see here that once I turned it on, that the actual monitor or the actual screen is actually moving around as if it is a mouse. So here is one, and then see as I move it, I'm moving the Steam client's window around, which is just pretty neat. And so I don't know if there's a specific way to hold this. Okay, so if you are going to hold it, you definitely want to hold it like this, where the thumbstick is kind of digging into your palm, and this will essentially be your trigger button. So here we go. I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the background, but there's the mouse, and you can actually see that I'm moving the actual controller around, and I'm able to go ahead and move the whatever it is around on the actual display for the Legion Go, which is just wonderful because of the fact that what if this was a Microsoft Teams call? Or what if we wanted to play some type of first-person shooter type game? This is just a wonderful thing because now you have a Windows tablet with a actual dedicated mouse. I wouldn't say it's the most comfortable mouse, but it does work as intended. And here, again, this could be a Joy-Con for another type of game. So it's just a really wonderful setup. It really is going to be good for if you travel a lot, or maybe you're in college or what have you, and you want to go ahead and just play games on the go, and then making sure that you have the ability to connect to Microsoft Teams or check your emails or watch YouTube, all within this one package. So I pulled up one of my videos here on YouTube because I wanted to test the sound quality. So let's turn this on a little bit. And honestly, I would have to say I'm not overly impressed with the sound quality of how it plays back YouTube. Sounds very flat, but we're going to test out the audio as it pertains to gaming because that's what this device is really about. So now let's talk about the not so cool cousin. This is going to be the left side of the controller, and you can see here there is a D-pad there. It's nice and tactile. We have, it looks like some settings buttons, maybe a capture button, the thumbstick, And then we also have like another start button or pause button at the top there. And then we have some paddle buttons. And then we have the top trigger button as well as the bumper button up here. That's it. There's no additional portions at the bottom here. You cannot use this black disc to sit in here. It just physically won't fit. Just geometrically, it doesn't fit. It's kind of like trying to fit a triangle through a square hole. Adding the controllers back to the actual tablet portion is as simple as just clicking it back in. So you put it in, you hear like kind of a little click mechanism go off, and then you're good to go. So here it is. And boom, now you have your gaming tablet back with your controllers connected, and then you're able to take this on the go. So it's pretty versatile. So the competitors of the Legion Go are going to be the Asus ROG Ally, which was released just before the Legion Go, the Nintendo Switch, possibly the PlayStation Portal, as well as the MSI Claw. So the Nintendo Switch has been around for quite some time. Hopefully a new one comes out soon. The PlayStation Portal has been released for about a year now, and I wouldn't say it's a true gaming handheld because it relies on the connection of the PlayStation in order to stream games. So the PlayStation Portal doesn't necessarily have a built-in hard drive like the Legion Go or even the Asus ROG Ally or even some of the other handheld gaming devices. And the Steam Deck, while it did receive an OLED version, the technical specs on that are a little bit outdated as well. And then we have the MSI Claw, which no one really talks about. Regardless of all the gaming competition out there, I do hope that 2025 brings us a Nintendo Switch, Steam Deck 2, maybe some Asus ROG Ally 3 or 2.5 or S, and then honestly, it's just a great time to be a gamer. And do know that I'm not a hardcore gamer and I'm more of a casual gamer, but I do enjoy little devices like these because it gives me more options. And so the Legion Go actually has 16 gigabytes of RAM, which is a pretty good amount of RAM considering how small this particular device is. And even though the Legion Go is larger than its handheld competitors, it's still smaller than if you're going to be using a gaming laptop. Okay, so after a few hours of testing out the Legion Go's capabilities, I downloaded Microsoft Teams. I did some mock Microsoft Team conference calls. I did some gaming. I even tried to do some low-level video editing. And as an impression video, I would have to say that the Legion Go is pretty good. It's not without its faults. Honestly, I'm going to have to do a review on it later after doing a little bit more extensive testing and just having more time with Legion Go. But as of 2024, December 2024 specifically, this device has already been on the market for a year now. And honestly, I think it's just a really good device. At the price point of $499 or whatever the sale price is that you can get in December of 2024, I don't think it's necessarily a bad deal. Would I go ahead and pay an extra few hundred for a terabyte of storage? I don't think so. But again, I'm not like a hardcore gamer where I have to have thousands of games downloaded onto my device. I would have to say that during my testing with just installing a bunch of things, getting all my accounts synced up, you know, kind of just like all the new setup tasks that you do with a new computer, the battery life is kind of impressive because as you can see, when I first started the initial setup, it was already at 94%. But as I continued to work through downloading some games, playing a little bit more Helldivers 2, and then also installing like Outlook and just all those other things, it's only at 49%. And I've been testing this thing for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. This is not like a huge significant battery performance for anything, but for the PC gaming handheld space, it's actually quite good because I have the Asus ROG Ally and the Nintendo Switch, and the batteries on those drain pretty good. So keep in mind that I am a battery Nazi. I don't like to overcharge my batteries. I don't like my batteries on my devices to get warm or whatever, to try and reduce and prevent the degradation of the battery's capacities. And so I would have to say that even though this thing is chunky, and just my overall impression of the Legion Go is, it's pretty good. I definitely like it. If I was going to give it a score rating, I would say it's about a 7.773. And so now let's go ahead and get to the know before you go tips for my impressions with the Legion Go. Tip number one is going to be the fact that this thing is big. don't expect to be buying this and fitting it in your pocket. It's gonna have to go inside of some type of book bag, a sling bag, a fanny pack, or maybe its own dedicated carrying case, because I mean, honestly, it's just large. The screen itself, again, this screen is 8.8 inches. Tip number 2 is going to be the fact that this thing is heavy. It comes in at 1.8 pounds or something like that. And like I said with tip number 1, it's just a large device. You cannot put in your pocket, and then you also just have to really kind of understand the weight of it. It is really well balanced, but this is not a handheld device where you're going to be able to play it for hours at a time like this. Because I mean, you're going to get some arthritis, maybe some carpal tunnel. You're probably going to get some tennis elbow from holding this thing up straight for a few hours, because honestly, it's just a heavy boy. Tip number 3 is going to be the fact that even though these Joy-Cons or the controllers, they can detach, they're a little bit finicky to detach. It takes you a little bit of time to understand how to detach them, because I mean, it's just weird. It does kind of start to work a little bit more for you as you continue to do it, I guess muscle memory. But the first few times you kind of press on the button and you're like, what am I doing wrong? And so I again spent a few hours with this, and I just now kind of got the hang of it. But ultimately, I would like to see in the Legion Go 2, if there is going to be one, a little bit more of a easier way of getting these controllers to detach. Oh crap, I forgot what number tip we're on. Tip number 4, I think, is going to be the fact that even though the battery life of the Legion Go is pretty good for what it does, it will not last you all day. I would be hard pressed to say that it's going to last you more than 2.5 hours, especially if you're doing a lot of conference calls or maybe you're doing a lot of gaming. This is not going to be the battery that's going to get you all day battery life. So I do want to say that if you do end up getting a Legion Go or any handheld gaming PC for that matter, make sure you have an extra power bank so that way you can continue to charge on the go. And I think we're on tip number 5, and that's going to be this large screen. Make sure you put a screen protector on this thing because it's a beautiful screen. Honestly, I mean, my brother already put a screen protector on it for me. I'm grateful for that because I know that I am a clumsy dude and I probably would have dropped this, or my cat would have stepped on the screen by now and just kind of scratched up that beautiful screen, and you don't want that. So this screen is really nice, and that is going to be an LCD screen, not an LED screen. And so while the screen only gets to 1600p, it's beautiful. I'd have to say kudos. Okay, so I said I was going to do some AR demonstration with the Legion Go. However, it's pretty late at night here. I spent a few hours just killing time on the Legion Go, just testing things out. So I'm probably going to have to do another separate video with the AR glasses and the Legion Go to really show you how you can maximize the potential of using augmented reality with a handheld gaming PC. Anyways, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.